Politics affects every aspect of our lives. Government policies need to be monitored, so it is important to stay on top of the current political situation. Every citizen has an obligation to keep tabs on politicians. So in this sentence, I said it's important to stay on top of the current political situation. To stay on top of something means you are monitoring something, you're watching something, and you're keeping up to date with it. So if you're staying on top of the political situation, you're reading the newspaper every day, you're watching the news, you're going online, and you're talking about politics. And then next sentence, I said, every citizen has an obligation to keep tabs on politician. To keep tabs is kind of similar. You're watching something, but you're watching it to make sure it goes well, it doesn't go badly, or let's say if you have someone in your family that's sick, you might want to keep tabs on them. That means you watch them and kind of take care of them to make sure they don't get worse. So in this case, you would just monitor politicians in the news, always find out what they're doing and read about what's going on. Decisions made by the government have an impact on its citizens. There is a social contract that all citizens must vote and be involved in politics in some shape or form. So in the second part, I said there's a social contract. So kind of a social contract is like an unwritten contract or an unwritten agreement that you might have. For example, no one said we should pay taxes. There's no contract. You didn't sign anything. But part of the society is we have to pay taxes to pay for roads, military, and police. Also, when you get on an elevator, you don't smoke a cigarette. It's kind of a social contract. We've all agreed that smoking in the elevator is a bad idea. So you'd wait to go somewhere else to smoke a cigarette. But it's kind of an unwritten contract that we have with society. And I said, you should be involved in politics in some shape or form. So in some shape or form is just some way. So you should be voting, you should be volunteering for a politician, you should be reading about politics, you should be discussing politics. That's a different shape or form. They're all different ways of getting involved. We can keep politics at arm's length. Politics don't affect our daily lives. If your job is directly correlated with politics, then you should pay attention to what is happening. Voting based on general ideas of politicians and laws is enough. So first I said we need to keep politics at arm's length. If you keep something at arm's length, imagine sticking your arm out away from your body. So that's about a meter, less than a meter. So it means we keep things far away, but still a little bit close. We also measure distance sometimes. For example, like what is a comfortable way of speaking to someone? 1 arm length, 2 arm lengths away. So it's kind of a unit of measurement. But if you keep something at arm's length, means you keep it away, but it's still close to you. And then I said, if your job is directly correlated with politics. So if something is correlated, it's directly related. It's another way of saying that. So if you work for the government or a lobbying firm or a company that does business with the government, you would probably need to pay attention to politics. So that's a correlation. Paying attention to politics is a waste of time. If you don't have any skin in the game, you don't need to be heavily involved in politics. You can be an effective voter if you passively pay attention to politics and stay up to date with what is going on. So I said, if you don't have any skin in the game, you don't need to be involved in politics. So skin in the game is, it's like a financial investment, a time investment, an emotional investment, meaning that part of you is involved in the process. So for example, if you want to invest in the stock market and you invest in one company, you have skin in the game. So if the company loses money, you're losing money. So that's your skin that you're kind of losing. Or if you worked very hard on something, or a project, or you volunteered, you have an emotional and time investment. So when we talk about that, there's skin in the game. So for example, if people don't pay their taxes in society, they don't really care what happens. They have no skin in the game to what is happening with the government. And I also said next, if you passively pay attention to politics, so passively paying attention is like if you see a newspaper, you might read the headline, half the article, but not the whole article. Or you see something that's on TV on the news and you watch a little bit of the news story, but you don't go research it afterwards. You're kind of passively paying attention. So you see what's going on, but you're not really researching it. You're not getting heavily involved. Thanks, guys, and thanks for downloading. Bye-bye.